The Indus Waters Treaty Crisis. What international law says? Two nuclear-armed nations, 165-year-old water treaty, and a crisis that could literally rewrite international law. Right now, the Indus Waters Treaty is hanging by a thread. International courts are already weighing in. And this isn't about India and Pakistan anymore. It's about how the entire world will deal with water rights in conflict zones. Let's break down the facts, the crisis, and what international law actually says. First, a quick history check. Signed in 1960, brokered by the World Bank, the Indus Waters Treaty divided 6 major rivers between the two countries. Pakistan was given control by the Indus, the Jhelum, and the Chenab. Against all odds, this treaty survived 2 actual wars and decades of intense tension until April 2025. Following the deadly Pahalgam attack, India suspended the treaty. Here is where bodies get a massive clash of arguments. India says cross-border terrorism constitutes a fundamental change of circumstance. Basically, they are asking how can we be expected to honor of 1960 water agreements while facing active security threats from Pakistani territory. Pakistan, on the other hand, says this suspension directly threatens the lives of 240 million people. These rivers irrigate about 80% of Pakistan's farmland. Islamabad has taken the dispute to international arbitration and warned that any actual division of water could be treated as an act of war. Question for you right now. Before we look at the law, who do you think has the stronger argument here? Type security if you side with India or survival if you side with Pakistan. Down in the comments. Let's see what the consensus is. Alright, so what does the law actually say? There are 3 massive legal frameworks in play here. Firstly, the Vienna Convention. Under Article 62, a unilateral suspension of treaty is not permitted. It requires mutual consent. Secondly, Pacta Sunt Servanda. It's a Latin phrase that acts as the cornerstone of international law. It simply means our agreements must be kept regardless of the political weather. At 3rd November, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, the PCA, has actually ruled on this twice recently in June 2025 and February 2026. Their verdict: the treaty remains legally binding and cannot be put on hold by one side. And finally, there is international human rights law. Access to water is recognized as a fundamental human right. Cutting off water to millions of civilians means you have to clear a very high legal bar. Whether India's changed circumstances argument holds up is still being tested, but so far the courts aren't buying it. But here is why you need to care about this. No matter where you live, water disputes are only going to multiply as climate change interfaces. How India, Pakistan, and the international community resolve this crisis is going to set a legal precedent of every single shared river system on the planet. So I want to leave you with this question: should international territories be completely unbreakable, or should national security concerns allow for exceptions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have out down there. I'll be reading them. I'll see you in the next one.